Hi there, I'm Questy, and this handsome devil is QuestySparks, my Stormcaller Shaman with a little side of Bloody Pox. And we're picking up directly where I left off. I was parked here basically because I had to go to the bathroom, and the worst way to lose a hardcore character is to walk away thinking you're safe and be wrong. So let's get back into it. We've just started our way down the Astrakarn Road, reading about various exploits of cannibalism and whatnot by the desperate refugees that were on this trip. And so let's keep pressing on. Our objective these days is to get over to Fort Icon, which is where the Black Legion, or the remnants thereof, are holed up, and that's kind of the next base of operations that we'll be getting into. And of course, there's a lot more to this world that's not in the game, and you know, the Black Legion, of course, they're the primary military force of the Empire, an entity that we hear a lot about, but we never really see much of in the game. And that's essentially the survivors of them losing the capital city to the invasion are holed up at Fort Icon. So there's so much more. Like the Crate, of course, is building a city builder these days. They have it out in early access. I'd encourage people to go and check it out because, you know, if city builders are your thing, Crate's thing is meticulously working on games until they're awesome, based on the control group of one, which is this game. But yeah, so and a lot of people, like, it's funny, you know, they got a lot of traction on that game. They got a lot of people in there simply for that reason, right? People have a huge amount of faith in the studio because Crate has created this, and a lot of people love this game. But I can't help that little bit of being sad that it's not, it's not Grim Dawn 2 that's coming out. And when you think about it, you look at this, right, and you're like, okay, well, realistically, what could you get out of another Grim Dawn game, right? Like, this one has an unbelievable diversity of items and builds and stuff like that. So realistically, the next game would kind of just be one of those situations where it's like, okay, we're just kind of gonna do that again, but with less options, right? Because we can't possibly add all the options that you currently have, because then what would we put, like, what would we add to the game, right? Like, we can't do that. That's years and years of development in that, so you would not get that. So what I think would be awesome is they maybe took their swing at like a Souls-like or something like that, or just some other perspective on the game, right? Like something that changes it up, or like a turn-based, sort of XCOM style combat or something like that. I'd love to see that. I kind of feel like when you have a group of developers, and it is a small group, when you have a group of developers that are kind of so devoted to figuring out just sort of perfecting a gameplay cycle and stuff like that, it would just be cool to see what they could do with this world, because there is so much more lore that is not being, that is mentioned but is not being explored, like settings and political entities and cults and stuff like that. Like, even just when you look at some of the classes, this is a shrine that we cannot currently restore. That's a whole quest line to do that. I think we might have grabbed part of it, but maybe not. Like, we might just be avoiding it entirely until the elite playthrough. But yeah, I would love to see more of the world of Cairn, which I believe is what this is called. And hopefully that comes around. They haven't ruled it out, but when you look at it, and their development team of like 6 or 8 people, and they've got a massive game project that they've been working on for a couple of years, it's like, yeah, nothing's in the works, right? Like, a team that small building a game like Furthest Frontier, they're fully engaged, right? There's nobody sitting around wondering what they can do with their time. So I don't think we're going to see more Grim Dawn anytime soon, which is too bad, but I'm also pretty excited for Furthest Frontier. That's something I might have to put up on the channel a bit. I did put up sort of my first look at the early access, but I haven't really gotten into the game. Like I was saying in an earlier video, I've been poking around at Star Valor like crazy because that game's a ton of fun as well. But yeah, I'm eventually going to have to tuck in. There was just another big update that came down for this Frontier, so they're working on it. Constantly working on it. Oh, what have we here? Dungeon time. Place is full of ghouls and bloodsworn. No real need to draw much of a distinction between the two. Feels good. Every now and then I just have to slap somebody across the face with my little lightning stick. You can decide whether or not that's a pet name. I'll leave that in your filthy little minds. Assume no responsibility. Thought you could hide that chest on me. Paying attention. Sort of paying attention. QuestySparks likes long walks on the beach and mass murdering bloodsworn. Favorite song, Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Yeah, they're not dropping any of the goodies. A lot of these can be pretty good if you get the right stats on them. And I should be keeping an eye out as well for stuff that I can use on my redo of my Lost Necromancer build. It's like I say, I do want to hit that up again, so I should be keeping tabs on the possibility of good vitality damage buffs. Vitality damage and melee buffs. The spectral weapons are actually really interesting just because of the fact that they focus entirely on vitality damage, like they're not even inflicting fizz damage. Oh, there you go, level 40. You know what that probably means is that once we get to the next waypoint, I might be wanting to take a good look through my item assistant and decide on what I want to be wearing, because as you can see, these are all level 40. I probably have a swack of items that I can equip. You know, this is an upgrade. This is a significant upgrade. Either of these. That one obviously better. Got more on it. That 12% LE resist. That would max me across the board. It hurts my soul that none of those abilities are buffs for me though. You know, the flat skill buffs. Look at those +3s. And I can't use them. But that lightning sphere would be proccing a hell of a lot. That's where the bloody pox is still really useful, right? It's giving me those pops of on attack procs. Pretty good. All right. Now I will do that. I will do an item search after this, and as usual, I won't force anyone to sit through it. I'll kind of do it off camera and then just kind of showcase whatever I pull out of the little bag of loot that I keep to the side. I'm definitely enjoying that slightly improved Wendigo totem. You can see it kind of keeping my health up a little bit as long as there's somebody standing near it. It keeps pulling health and reassigning it to me, which I like. Oh, looky here. Okay, so we are in a challenge dungeon. So monsters have some slow resistance. That's going to help them resist the slowing effects of my Curse of Frailty. I'm not super worried though. I'm still going to get it out there and then just keep slapping totems down. Maybe try a little bit of evasion here, but yeah, it's over already. The damage output of this build is still doing really, really good things for me. Oh yeah, this is a good one. At some point, I'm gonna show off an ether ray build as well. It's the frickin' lasers build. You have to love it. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking make you or anything, but you should love it. Otherwise, there's something weird about you. It's definitely, I don't know how hardcore viable. Well, at least I know that my own efforts at it in the past have not been hardcore viable. Just was a massive glass cannon build. Of course, it got a lot better once I realized that there was such a thing as a pulsating shard that you could have in your offhand. As soon as I realized that, things got a lot less shitty. Because I was actually getting life drain from my... Oh, we got ourselves a little skull boss on us here. We should probably be careful about that. Especially coupling that with standing in the bed there. Oh, terrible news. Terrible news. Terrible news. Alright, let's get a totem down at least here. Okay, there we go. I hate that when I don't have it. Okay, now I also got an elite on me. Let's get a totem down. Alright, so presumably this little package of loot here is probably from the skull boss, which we barely survived. There's something so relaxing about playing and rambling on that can sort of lull you until you make stupid moves like that nearly get your character killed. This is probably why it's gonna, it's gonna be a ring the bells event if I ever get a character to level 100 in hardcore because of this lack of attentiveness and whatnot. It just feels unlikely that I'm ever going to get around to it. I didn't really mean to pick that up. Yeah, that's a bit shit. Alright. Alright. So I think that's all we're going to do here. I just wanted to kill that boss, get the XP. So it's a complete side area. You don't really need to be there, so... risking my life for no apparent reason. Okay, so we do have a waypoint just up ahead here, which means that we're probably going to be going for a little bit of new gearing. Which is good, because that'll also give us, more armor and stuff like that as we just up-level our gear. Because we are taking some pretty big hits now. If you don't keep your gear sort of relevant to your level, you start to get to be a little bit higher risk of just getting tapped, like we nearly did in there. Although that really, I was taking a lot of vitality decay there. We are going to be breaking out another desecrated shrine, and I do remember what I was going to do with the points, so that'll be nice. Alright, but in the meantime, we're going to warp across the world over here to the Conclave, and I am going to go rummage through my stash. And when I come back, we might have some cool new loot to take care of. And here it is, the little pile of loot that may or may not be better than what I have on. I just kind of dumped some things in here that I found, and we can go ahead and compare them. Some of the stuff I have is going to be higher level, but it might not be better in slot. This being a reasonable example of that. We have 31% LE damage on this, but we do gain 2 levels to our vulnerability curse. Which is good because that's actually debuff, so that's adding percent damage to enemies just by reducing their, reducing their resistance to what I'm doing. That said, this definitely gives me more damage, and has quite a brace of resists on it as well. Things like Chaos Resist, we're going to be looking for that. We're going to be facing off against a bunch of Chthonians. They use that. This is probably an upgrade. I'm thinking here we're probably going to wear this. So we're going to have to do a little bit of re-equipping. We've got to get that emblem of the Leaping Mantis going again. All right, so next up, let's take a look at our weapon. We've got a couple options here for weapon. That I've pulled out. Now, the weapon that we have equipped is pretty good because obviously it's buffing 2 of our skills, right? Well, a skill and a sub-skill. It's adding a little bit more damage to Bloody Pox. But as we've established, Bloody Pox is not really my primary damage output. Thing is, this is also giving us that lightning bolt. There's a lot of good things going on with this weapon that we have equipped right now. However, some of these just have quite a big chunk of damage attached to them. Like if you look at this one here, 50% chance on critical attack, that's going to proc a lot. And it's going to give us that 58% lightning damage right off the bat. But these ones are also not so bad. Pretty good lightning damage, pretty good electrocute damage. Overall, that's looking pretty good. The problem is these have a lot of stuff that's not really that useful in there as well. You know, mainly stuff like this one, this one has the physical conversion. That's all relatively useless. The vitality conversion is all relatively useless. In fact, that's a debuff, you know, because we are inflicting a bit of vitality damage via our abilities, and that would convert it to chaos, which we aren't scaling at all. So in looking at these, I would gain lightning damage and lose damage from other abilities. But at the end of it, that might still be better. Just in how much flat lightning damage I would be adding here, given that that is realistically our big thing is lightning damage. And now as you can see here, I would be trading a little bit of duration as well, but that's not really a huge deal on the electrocute because the electrocute duration, it's not a problem, right? It's more that direct lightning damage that's being delivered. Now this one here, once again, it grants us the lightning bolt attack. And if you look, it's higher damage as well. 10% chance on attack as opposed to 20% chance when hit. Now, of course, because we have Bloody Pox going on, it means we're attacking like every second. So if we add this item, we gain electrocute damage, we gain lightning damage, more than double the lightning damage on our main hand. We gain 73 offensive ability. Well, we gain about 50. That is good because that drives up our crit rate as well. I kind of like this one. I think we could potentially do it. You can ignore the minus 200 DPS. That's not a problem for me because obviously we're not flailing around with our weapon. We don't really care about that. Now you could say, oh, this is degrading your Bloody Pox and all that. But let's be honest. I could drop Bloody Pox entirely and all that. Like I could drop it to 1 point and just use it as an attack activator. And that would be fine. I'm not going to do that right away, but it's something I'm thinking about. Okay, the rest of this stuff we're not going to use. Back in the bin. All right, I do also have these rare shoulders that I was looking at. Now, I didn't remember that I had that 30% chance when hit lightning bolt. But if you're not building a retaliation damage build, chance when you're hit is less useful because you're kind of trying to avoid being hit if it comes right down to it. Now, neither of these are giving me any abilities that are actually useful to me. But if you look at that new one, that rare, it's giving me a ton of LE damage. It's giving me a bunch of electrocute damage with 74% increased duration. That's not really too bad. 5% health buff is gone. These ones are a little bit up in the air. There's not even a huge amount of extra health that I would be picking, or extra armor I'd be picking up off of it. But I'm still gonna do it because it's a little bit extra health and it's a little bit more LE resist. It's just kind of a little bit more of everything that's kind of useful. So that one is gonna go on. I do have these as well. But ultimately, if you look at this, we're actually pulling down, you know, just about as much. The 44 offensive ability on this is actually pretty nice as well. 290 armor. Okay, am I reconsidering? Okay, let's go back to the books on this one. 290. This is giving me 31% lightning. That gives me 26. This is giving me 36 electrocute with no. It's giving a 74% increased duration. But once again, does that really matter? Is that really a big deal? This gives me chaos resist. We already have a lot of LE resist. Some of that might be lost from my shoulders, but we'll see. Okay, we're going to bring that in. Those ones are going back in the bin. All right, now chest pieces. We did just pick up a couple of these that are also looking pretty good. So we got a little bit to look at here. Let me poke around at it because this is taking a little bit of time. Okay, we've got a winner. So I've looked over these different ones here. Obviously, this is a great item. Look at that. Like 5 skill buffs, lightning sphere chance on attack, which would be going off quite a bit. But you look at the overall numbers, they're not that good. What we're going to do is we're going to replace our current armor. What's this one? I didn't even look at that one. It's nothing. Okay. We're going to replace it with this Necromancer's Flesh Warp Plate Mail of Thunder. The reason we're going to do that is because all of this is good. 292 armor. We're gaining 70 armor on the nose. We are, however, gaining double the lightning damage buff. We are gaining a straight up 28% electrocute buff. And then we get to 4% physique and spirit. That's fucking good. Armor increased by 8%. That's fucking good. 19% pierce resist is kind of neither here nor there because we're already capped. But the 21% chaos resist, that's good shit. And then if you look down at the skills, +3 to oak skin and vulnerability, both of those skills are very useful to me. And you can factor in that +3 to vulnerability. That is more debuff to the opponent's resistance to lightning. So that stacks on top of that lightning damage I have. That's our winner for new chest piece. So this guy here, it's fantastic, but I can't wear it, right? I'm short by a bit. So it kind of disqualifies it despite how fucking ridiculous the numbers are on it. You know, and if you come down to the fact that this one is buffing our oak skin, that's going to turn straight into pierce resistance and various resistance and whatnot. I'd probably go with that one because of how much lightning damage is on it. But like I say, I can't wear it. By the time I've gotten that physique up, you know, it doesn't give me any skill buffs. It's great, but it's back in the bin. All right. And then we've got helmet slot. Oh yeah, we had this shoulder armor as well that I am not going to use. I think I do want to go with this one. So that guy's going to go in. These guys are going to go in as well because they are nice. But now we've got a bunch of, let's just take a quick look. Lightning elemental, that's 42, 20 electric, 4% health. Well, shit. Well, shit. 290, 160. These have a fuck ton more armor on them. But that's 4% health, right? These have no health on them. Those have 4%. And health is the best armor, really. All right, fuck. Plans changed. Okay, you're up. All right, but back on course here. This one here is level 42, so we can't wear it yet. Doesn't necessarily mean I should toss it, but it's got 28% lightning on it. It does have the +3 to Stormcaller's pack, but they all will, right? So that's going to be across all these. 28 lightning damage. Let's see, vitality resists 21%. Yeah, so my vitality resist is not capped, so I wouldn't mind picking up a bit more of that. That 49% or that 49 offensive ability is pretty sweet on there too. +6% physique though. That's a chunk more survivability. That said, like just kind of poking at this one. That offensive ability is nice. All right, we're going to take that. Up against what I'm wearing, this is just a pretty significant upgrade. So we're going to go with that. Okay. So there we go. There's some upgrades planned. I'm going to go ahead and kit these out. Yeah, that's a nice ring there. I'm going to go ahead and kit these out, and then we'll take a look at the character, and we'll probably run around a little bit and blow some things up. Okay, quick snapshot before I actually do that. Look at this fucking clown. Isn't that awesome? Look at those shoulders. Who the fuck would ever make those? Like, I guess if your religion, one of the tenets was that you can only go sideways through doors. These would be like the required religious dress. Anyway, let's go change that. Okay, we're done. Look at this. We look normal again. Well, not normal. I mean, it's all subjective, but we don't look like a fucking clown that can't make it through doors anymore. And one thing I did notice as well, you want to see what I was wearing for my amulet? Yep, level 7 quest reward. So maybe hung on to that a little bit too long. So yeah, so we went ahead and replaced it. We had this. There's a lot of stuff I still don't have very good slot items for, just because I haven't played that much hardcore. But we do get a little bit of lightning and electrocution out of this, a little bit of, you know, keep some of my resists up and whatnot. And also that 17% reduced entrapment duration. Always good, always good. So yeah, so I figured that's fairly useful. We socketed up an arcane lens in there. Got our helmet on. I was going to look and see if I have a better belt, but I don't really. That's unfortunately, it's going to be kind of a dead slot. You know, I could put one in there that gave me a little bit more base stats, but I just can't be bothered right now. Weapon, we've socketed that up with an upgraded component. We've got the amber on there now, so we're pulling a little bit more capability out of that as well. We don't have Nova socketed, and I'm probably not even going to bother. You know, we're just not using it, so it would just be too much on my key rotation anyway. But yeah, generally it's pretty good. That lightning bolt on attack should come in pretty handy. So let's go and trial this. We don't have a ton more time in the video, but we may as well see how it goes. I did get my movement ability back in on that new metal as well, so all that is in good shape. So we can go and get ourselves a hit off of this shrine up ahead here. And that way I can assign those points before I actually forget, because inevitably I will if I wait until next time I play the game. Yeah, there we go. There's some nice damage burning those guys down. There should be a little bit more. We can take a look at our overall numbers here in a second. Let's have a quick look around. So we got electrocute 405 going on. Let's see where our lightning is sitting, 618. So we know that we have scaled that up. Let's see how we did on our bleed. I don't think we will change it. We did go down a little bit on the bleed damage, but again, that's not where my damage is coming from. My damage is coming from that lightning, and we have gone up. And as you can see, we've improved here a little bit as well. We've improved this chaos. That was low. We've improved our poison and acid. These are still not good. Don't get me wrong. None of these are good, and bleed is critically bad. Fortunately, this often won't kill you, though. This will kill you. This will kill you in the chthonic realm, and that's where we're going. The final boss of this portion of the game. He's using chaos on me, so I want to get that number up. All right, but let's press on. I've rambled. I've re-geared. I've done all this stuff. But it is getting to be time to push forward here, because we are closing on the end of this video. There's those sweet, sweet lightning bolts fucking people up. All right, we got ourselves another point. Taking a quick look at the devotion tree, this is where I want to go, because you can see that's going to unlock the thunderbolt for me, and it does have some pretty useful stuff in the interim, like that. For example, bunch of electrocute damage, all good stuff. Plus 30% all damage. All damage is one of the best things in the game. So there we go. We're opening up Owl, and we'll get going. Okay, so here we go. So this is actually another copy of what we have, but as you can see, the one that we have is, you know, triple rare. It's awesome. This one is not going to beat it quite yet. Even though it does have those higher lightning and electrocutes on it, it just doesn't have all that other stuff. You know, it's getting close, but it's not quite there. So we'll see if we can get a better one going on. We're going to grab it, though. I mean, hey, don't get too sniffy on shit like that. Okay, and there is somewhere around here as well. Oh, sorry, guys. There you go. All right, sorry, I'm just electrocute my way through here. And then, man, where is it? I always forget where this is. All right, I note you. Oh, right here. Okay, nice. Oh my God, there we go. Okay. So yeah, oh, there's the chest. Yeah, so this here, hidden path. Obviously the hidden path is a quest that we are not currently doing. But this gives a clue here as to where I believe the third location is for that quest. I'm probably not going to bother doing it in this playthrough. I will probably wait until Elite to do it, just because I kind of want to race through this and see, you know, if the character ends up winning through to Elite, then we'll see where we can go with sort of stacking up those little details like hidden path and whatnot. You know, and Shrine of McDragon and stuff like that. And sharp-eyed among you might have noticed that in my inventory there, in my shared stash, I do have a champion's mark. And you might be saying to yourself, why don't you just fucking go to Elite right now? Or something along those lines. And I could. But on the other hand, I could also give myself a better chance at preserving the character by actually running all the way through the veteran, just to build levels, hopefully get my resists in a good place, and then go from there into the Elite playthrough. I did see lightning on that. Nowhere near as much as what I have here, though. Let's leave that behind to harvest some XP for me. And we're getting close to Fort Icon now. There is a little offshoot dungeon here that we're probably going to do just up to the north here. But for right now, we're just going to keep rolling through here. So that we end up getting to Fort Icon in a reasonable amount of time, since we are already running a little bit long on this video, what with all the gearing and whatnot. But you know, I don't need a tight schedule. The horde of people who watch these videos will hopefully stay off my back about these overlong videos. A lot of sarcasm in there. All right, here we are, Fort Icon. Look at this poor unfortunate bastard. You gonna be all right, buddy? He says yes. I don't believe him. I think he's fucked. But anyway, we'll carry on. Now, if we just kind of cruise around here, we're gonna find a contested waypoint right here. And we've got some Black Legionnaires on hand to help us out. We do not stand alone. I should probably not stand right in the middle there. Gotta keep my totem count up. There we go. Alright, let's see if they dropped anything nice here. I'm thinking not really. I mean, obviously, you know, you look at that, you're like, it's actually pretty good. And it is, but I've got a bunch of those. I mean, they're pretty regular drops, so I don't need to take them on right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna rush up here. We'll grab our lore bonus, because you always want that. And you'll notice there is something missing here. This is where we should be talking to Ulgrim. We've probably forgotten to check in with him and get him through here. So let's... Son of a bitch. I got overzealous. I couldn't jump that far. So let's go and talk to him really quick, because I would like to get this going. He's back here at Homestead. Let's go talk to him. We probably cashed in with his lieutenant there and then just forgot to run up and tell him. because that's where he basically gives us that next stage, tells us, hey, go to Fort Icon. It's actually Inquisitor Creed. So we'll give him, so he basically says, will you meet us at Fort Icon? I'm one step ahead. But now that's going to move him along so that we can pick up the next stage of our quest. And as I say, we are getting very much into the end game of the original Grim Dawn experience, which basically ends right here. That is the original game, is this pathway through. Now there's a lot more for us to do, but we're going to be faced with some decisions once we reach the end game here, because we're going to have to decide, do we want to go on and do Malmuth and do Forgotten Gods, or do we want to run through this again on Elite and basically open up the better looting opportunities and everything that come along with that, which I think is going to be the choice. Okay, so next time around, we will access all these quests. He's given us our marching orders, which we're going to go ahead and do next time around. And we've got a couple of side quests that we want to check into here as well. But that, like I say, will be next time. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you come back to see the further adventures of Wisp. Thank you. The further adventures of QuestySparks. Till then,